there, welcome to Anne Straight's YouTube channel, Voice of Quote section. Today I want to share with you some of the amazing words of the legends of the world. Words that guided souls over time. And who knows, maybe yours will be in the list as well. Before we begin, I want you to get your notebook ready and keep your ears at high attention. Important things come first, right? So let's save my name for later, okay? Please note that since this YouTube channel is specifically for a writer's community, I am going to explain the quotes in writer's perspectives. But basically, they can be applied and understood by non-writers as well. So with that said, let's get right in it. Our first quote is by Lisa C. and it says, "Read 1,000 books and your words will flow like a river." This basically means that whatever you read will be transferred to whatever you will write by osmosis. So that is how Boache D. Alpha quoted it in one of our virtual writing discussions. So if you want to write better, you have to read better. That said, let's go to our next quote by Octavia E. Butler, and it says, "You don't start out writing good stuff. You start out writing crap and thinking it's good stuff, and then gradually you get better at it." So that is why I say one of the most valuable trait is persistence. Wow, this is a very good quote. It says that if you want to be perfect, you don't need to start at perfection. Start a little and grow a step at a time. Note your progress and be persistent in your writings. Persistence is key. Write as you grow, write as you improve, and finally you will be good at what you write. Our third quote is by Stephen King, and it says, "When your story is ready for rewrite, cut it into the bone. Get rid of every ounce of excess fat." This is going to hurt. Revising a story down to the bare essential is always a little like murdering children, but it must be done. This quote is trying to prepare us to be ready to polish our writings. As writers, we know that our first draft is not our last draft. It needs polishing, it needs to be manicured and pedicured and be made up for it to be perfect and beautiful. One thing to note when doing this is that cut out everything that looks additional, that is not necessary. Cut it out and make sure your composition or whatever that you are writing has only the bare essentials. The next quote that we're going to look at today is by Robin Sharma, and it says, "Ambition without implementation is a ridiculous delusion." So this means that if you are dreaming of something, get your arse up and keep it moving to achieve whatever dream that you want to achieve. Don't just be virtually dreaming with your ass on the bed, doing nothing about your dream. That will just be delusional. And that takes us to our next quote by Muhammad Ali, which says, "I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion." So Muhammad Ali was training, but he didn't like the thought of training because normally training is tedious and hard. He motivated himself by being persistent and telling himself to suffer now and enjoy later. So basically, we should work hard now for our fruits that we will reap later by the results of our efforts. So let me give you a good real world class example of this patience and persistence that yield a real life benefit that is approved by the world, the Taj Mahal. Get ready for a quick short story of the Taj Mahal, okay? So here it starts. The mastermind behind this Taj Mahal is a lover by the name Shah Jahan, the Mughal Empire. He constructed this monument as a symbol of his devotion and adoration for his lovely wife who died in 1631. His commitment to Taj Mahal is so extravagantly sensational, staggeringly inspirational, and structurally exemptional that the onlookers will understand the depth of this man's affection to his late wife as they experience the beauty and the entire splendor of this Taj Mahal. So it was basically a symbol of strength of what we as human creatures are capable of producing with our direct ambitions and focus. So once this Mughal empire set his bold intention on the construction plan sheet, his workers started the process of translating that lofty papered vision into a definite reality by actually getting active with the construction process, building the Taj Mahal from step 1. As you now know, ambition without implementation is a ridiculous delusion. You are now much more fluent in the insight that everything legendary requires generous amounts of industry, artistry, and persistency. Mastery is not a sudden event. It really is a ceaseless process that many take years of painstakingly craftsmanship, practice, sacrifice, and suffering before the finished product intensifies to a level that moves the world, like the Taj Mahal. So, what Shah Jahan did was really great. He remained loyal to his noble idea, not only during the time after he thought up the dream to build a legendary piece of art for his wife, but also after climbing to his visions and actually realizing his dream and getting it to be a reality. So, over the long extended years in the parched Indian desert, his creative implementation proceeded against rejection, exhaustion, the stones of jealous peers, the skepticism of his loved ones, and also the temptations of other attractive opportunities. And as a result, he found himself in the isolated winters of self doubt, asking himself, is it really necessary to continue the construction of this Taj Mahal? Nevertheless, he continued. Get this point clearly, get it very clearly. It is what separates the pretenders from the genius icons. Anyone can be great for a minute, and anyone can think of great stuff, but the sports icon is the one who sustains genius great performance and thoughts over his lifetime. Moreover, that takes an unusual grit and patience uncommon in these superficial times. That kind the majority of society today is hardly developing. Do you know what I mean? Yes, now that is what I mean. Let's continue with our story. Now, for 22 years, over 20,000 workers toiled in the scorching Indian sun. I mean 22,000 workers. In 22 years, not 22 days, not 22 weeks or 22 months, 22 years. These workers carried block by block of marble for immense distances. And in this process, over 1,000 elephants were put into action as the army of craftsmen steadily erected the structure the world is now seeing as the Taj Mahal. So during this construction journey, they faced architectural roadblocks, environmental extremes, unexpected tragedies, and a lot more. Yet, they still were focused, fearless, and relentless, dazzlingly committed to doing whatever it took to get the empire's dream done. After 2 decades, this mausoleum was complete, and humankind judged it as one of the greatest products of poetic audacity the world had never received. The Taj Mahal is such a direct metaphor of you writers to consider on the subject of staying committed to a project through whatever hardship that will show up. and remain sincere to your ideal ideas, not only in the seasons of comfort, but especially at all times when things get terrifically difficult. And that's why this lesson is exceedingly important. Lastly, I want to close this video with a quote by Oscar Wilde that says, "With freedom, books, flowers, and the moon, who could not be happy?" Who could not be happy? So that wasn't a question, by the way. It was just a rhetoric for you to realize the million blessings and inspirations around you. Make use of them and appreciate them. Appreciate your freedom, nature, and everything around you. Find inspiration in them and make yourself useful. So that is all that I will share with you today. I encourage you to please rewind this video and listen to it again. Do you know what? Let me tell you. Repetition creates emphasis, and emphasis is very important for information comprehension and analysis. So you better go back and re-listen for you to comprehend this very well. For the promise that I made to you earlier on this video, my name is Firdaus Hassan, a proud member of the Honest Right Hub. If you like this video, do not forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Until next time, goodbye.